Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Stan Lee action figure. Now Stan Lee is the man. He's a huge name in the comic industry. He helped create some Marvel characters such as the X-Men, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, and a whole bunch more. This is an action figure presumably based off of Stan Lee's appearances in all the Marvel cinematic films. He had a cameo in each and every one of them. Stan Lee, rest in peace. I believe he passed away last year. That's quite a shame. I got my figure from Target.com. It had an option for free shipping to store. Went ahead and purchased it. Got to pick it up about 3 days later. So let's go and check out the packaging here. As you can see on the front, it's got his trademark signature, Stan Lee, on the front. Also has that on his Captain America shield. I got Stan Lee because I love civilians and regular citizen action figures. This guy can have so many different uses in my action figure setups and dioramas. You don't get a lot of old man action figures. This guy is excellent for that. So as you can see at the bottom, Stan Lee, Hasbro, Marvel, ages 4+. His signature twice, Captain America shield, Stan Lee here in a regular clothing, looking great. One side here it says Excelsior Stan Lee. On the other side, pretty much the same thing. On the bottom, there's a barcode and a bunch of credits. Not sure if that's going to help anybody or not. On the back side here, you can see the figure of Stan Lee, poster of the Avengers. Pretty much his creation. Now, I'm more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan, but I love them both. I remember watching an old interview with Bob Kane, the creator of Batman, where he said that when he was on the way to the 1989 Batman film premiere, he went with Stan Lee and was sort of bragging to him, look, Batman's on screen, where's your Spider-Man film? Too bad they didn't get to live long enough to see how things are now. So with no further ado, let's crack him open. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. He does come with a Captain America shield with his Stan Lee signature on it. He also has a chessboard that's folded up from his cameo in the film Avengers. You may wonder why the package said Excelsior on it. Excelsior was a catchphrase that Stan Lee has used for about 50 years. It means ever upward in Latin. So I think it's absolutely fantastic they made a figure of Stan Lee. First of all, I absolutely love civilian and regular citizens from the action figure world. How often do you get an action figure of an old man in regular clothing? Almost never. They kind of use the Marvel Cinematic cameos as an excuse to release him in the line. But even if he wasn't in those films, I would love to get figures of guys like this. This is a guy behind the scenes that did so much for Marvel, helped mold it to what it is today. I would love him to make Bob Kane and other type comic creators. That would just be something really cool and really special. Some kind of exclusive releases. So let's go and check out the figure here. Regular civilian clothing. Let's start with his head. My God, look at this guy's head. It looks great. The detail in the hair, the receding hairline. We got 3 different shades of gray in his hair. Sunglasses, the wrinkles on his forehead, his mustache, his nose, his mouth. It screams Stan Lee. They knocked this one out of the park. It looks great. Got civilian clothing on, regular shirt, jacket, some gray slacks. You're going to be very familiar with this Marvel Legends body. They've definitely used it before. Very pleased with the outcome here. Now let's check out his accessories. Starting off with his Captain America shield. This thing's pretty big, full circle. It's got the blue and white star in the middle. A lot of vibrant colors on here. Stan Lee's autograph on the front. Of course, it's not the real deal. It's an imitation. Still a really cool feature. On the inside, he's got some straps where he can attach to his arm. Here he is holding the Captain America shield, displaying his autograph. It looks pretty nice as a display piece like this. If you try to get him to an action shot throwing the shield, his signature will be sideways and looks kind of odd. Next, let's look at his chessboard. This thing's pretty basic, brown. You can see the sort of chess cubes on it. It's got some hinges or latches that are gold on one side. Now this thing would be really cool if you could fold it and actually sort of use it as a little chessboard for your guys, but it's just one solid piece and doesn't have any functionality, thus kind of making it useless. Still, I like it, but it could have been a lot better. You can have him walking down the street with the chessboard tucked under his arm. You can also have him holding it, but it will warp his hands if you keep it like this. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, next let's check out the height of this guy. So, from bottom to top, he's sitting at about 6.2 inches, just a hair below 6¼ inches, and that'll translate to about 16 centimeters. Now let's go ahead and check out his articulation. So starting with his head here, it can rotate around, can look down quite a bit, and up quite a bit as well. Shoulders, they're in a ball joint, they go up a whole lot more than 90 degrees. It's pretty nice. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. There's a bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows, they can go all the way in. He can touch his face. Just all kind of good stuff. This figure is very articulated. Wrists can rotate, and they're hinged as well. He's got an ab crunch in his chest. Pretty nice range of motion there. Traditional waist swivel. Legs on a ball joint, they go out a little bit less than I expected. He sure can't do the splits, but then again, I doubt Stan Lee could have done them either. Then go forward about that far. Back, really not at all. He's got a thigh cut here. Double jointed knees. His foot here, of course, can go up and down. It can rock a little bit as well. Doesn't seem like it has any traditional rotation. And no toe articulation either. Now, Mattel made Batman figures for many years without double jointed elbows or knees. And here we go with old man Stan Lee with double joints. Are you kidding me? Here's Stan Lee getting ready to play chess with Robert Downey Jr. in the park. Or is it Tony Stark? Here's Stan Lee meeting Brody from Mallrats, played by Jason Lee. They're meeting up in front of the comic store, Comic Toast, just like in the film. Too bad they're not scaled up a little better together. Next, let's check them out compared with some of their action figures. Starting off by looking at the reuse from this action figure. Here he is next to a Bruce Banner as the Hulk, played by Mark Ruffalo. I thought this figure would share the most parts. So it looks like their feet are exactly the same. Their legs, slacks, pants, and belt are all exactly the same. Looks like their chest area is made exactly the same, just painted differently. Obviously their heads are different. I'll say their jacket is different, most noticeably in the back. You can see it's got a little bit of sort of stretchy material here. And actually even the arms are a little bit different. I can see the sculpting pattern is different. It also has that sort of stretchy material at the bottom. And it looks like the hands are the same. The first set of figures I would like to compare him to would be a bunch of Marvel figures, some of his creations. But I'm not a big Marvel action figure collector. Don't get me wrong, I love the Marvel characters, but my collection is predominantly Batman related. And if I were to start a Marvel collection, I just can't open that can of worms. Here he is, next to several other Hasbro Marvel Legends suited figures. I mostly got Stan Lee to use as a regular civilian in my action figure world, and that's why I got most of these Marvel figures. They do share a lot of parts with Stan Lee here. I think it's great that we have a Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo as Tony Stark and Bruce Banner figures. I would love to have a Captain America or Thor in civilian attire as well. I know it'd be pretty easy to part swap and customize one, but it would be really nice to have them release at least the original 6 Avengers from the film that way. Here he is next to my entire collection of Hasbro, and there's a couple of Toy Biz Marvel Legends figures. These are all suited or in civilian attire. Looking forward to the upcoming Peter Parker and Mary Jane throwback figures. If there's any civilian Marvel Legends figures that I seem to be missing, please drop me a line in the comments. I'd be extremely curious to find out who they are. Now, let's check them out, compared with some action figures from different various companies. to see how he fits in both scale and style wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. We've already looked at him next to some other Hasbro Marvel Legends. Here he is next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. Then next to some Jazzwares figures. And here next to some Mafex figures. Then next to some Mattel, DC, and Jurassic Park figures. And here he is next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. And next to some Mattel wrestling figures. Then next to some NECA figures. And here with some DC Direct and DC Collectible. And here he is next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. So overall, I must say the Stan Lee figure is fantastic. This guy looks great. This guy moves great. This guy is great. Stan, the man, Excelsior Lee. Whether you're into the Marvel Cinematic Universe figures or the Marvel Comic Universe figures, this guy's appropriate for either collection. This guy's a must-have for any hardcore Marvel fans, and frankly, any hardcore comic action figure fans in general should get this guy. I cannot wait to have him popping up and having little cameos in my Gotham City Batman action figure world. Maybe he'll go on a lunch date with Alfred. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. This figure here, I'd say, is a solid 8.5 out of 10. I am enjoying the heck out of this guy. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.